The Green Hell, a string of 170 corners over a 16-mile-long circuit to test everything a driver has got. One lap takes every drop of your energy and mind power. Now try doing that for 24 hours. This is the 2016 CORE Nurburgring 24 Hours. I'm Rishav Khosla, 4th place finisher at this event last year with Inferno Racing, and I will be taking you through the start of this race as we are having some technical difficulties. Can't really get the live stream up and running, so this is all me just talking into Audacity with the race going on in the background. So hopefully we can get this bit uploaded as well. Unfortunately, no pictures as well. But I will be taking you through this race for as long as I need to do until we get pictures up and running. So, we are currently running on the pace lap. It is 14:51 local time at the Nürburgring circuit. The cars are just heading around. And we have a couple of things to go through. Pre-race show cut short by 20 minutes here. So let's get straight to it. Lap times are the big story. Lots of big stories coming into this, but the big one really for me is lap times. The car is running the same specification as last year, but despite that, we're seeing lap times in VLN and the pole lap time 5 seconds faster than any lap time we saw last year. So definitely we're seeing teams that have brought programs in from last year building on top of that, and also the new guys coming in are looking very, very quick. New rules this year are very interesting. The CORE Nurburgring 24 Hours, and it's always been a local event. So teams, drivers will come around, meet at one place, work off of one place station, and compete in this race. However, with numbers down and Gran Turismo really is a dying game, CORE has decided to move it and open the race to network teams, which is a system that was created in the GT Planet Endurance series. Now, what this allows people to do is you can have teams with drivers from all around the world where they just disconnect from the race and the new driver comes in. So this allowed many more teams, and we have quite a few network teams actually running today. So very interesting stuff here, and hopefully, we can see close fights despite, network teams might have a slight disadvantage in longer driver changes. Now, speaking of these new teams, let's go through who we have, and while we're doing that, might as well go through the qualifying classification. So, on pole is a returning team, and the returning champions of this event, the Green Hell Heathens, and this year coming in with another new program. We've seen them in 2014, they ran a Nissan GTR. Last year, they ran a BMW Z4. This year, they're changing things up, running a Mercedes-Benz Sls Amg, a car that has taken pole here every single time in the 3 years running at the CORE N24. So a very impressive feat. Unfortunately, this car has never sat on top of the top step, so I'm sure Green Hell Heathens and the other two Mercedes-Benz teams will be hoping to change that today. They got a pole time with Tyrrell Bow with a 7:47 dead, which is the lap record, I believe, around here. But we're going to have to wait till the race to get real figures versus the Green Hell Heathens also set it last year with Mint GTR. Setting the lap record of, I believe, 7:52. So certainly the field is very competitive and very fast. And so it'll be very interesting to see who all can take that fight. And I definitely think by the end of these 24 hours, we will see a new lap record. Second place is the Dart team, the first of our network teams and new teams. Starting driver, or I believe qualifying driver, was GTP Pasm, who's famously fast driver all over GT Planet. He put in a time of 7:47.3, which is just amazing considering around this huge circuit, 3/10 was the separation between first and second on the grid. That is insane. And, finishing out the Mercedes-Benz dominance, really, 1, 2, 3 for Mercedes. Team Midweek Motorsports Racers Collective, that number 13, that bright blue Mercedes-Benz car, really, really looks good, I have to say. And piloted by a very, very talented driver, 6cc. 751.3. So those guys were a bit off the pace in qualifying, but that's, again, this is a 24-hour race. So if they can keep up the pace they had in qualifying throughout the entire race, and maybe even more, we could definitely see those guys challenging for the win. Number 4 on the grid is TNR, Top Notch Racing, in the first Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Piloted by TNR Philo, the team did a 751.4, so another close qualifying there. 751.3 versus a 751.4. So once again, this field is so amazingly close, and it can only lead to a fantastic race coming up. 5th place was the Reaper Online Racing guys, returning team, and I believe they are running local this year again. So an advantage for them when it comes down to time spent in the pits. But we've seen these guys very successful. Last year they tamed the Nissan GTR and did a very good job at it as well. So, they've got a much stronger package in the BMW Z4 GT3. So it'll be very interesting to see how competitive they will be. Obviously, qualifying 5th, not really where they would have wanted to be. But again, 24 hours, you can really move up. As last year's winners, GHH, started, I believe, in 5th place and came out well on top at the end of the race. 6th place is the first of the Concrete Climax racing cars, the Concrete Climax 1 team, that famous blue and yellow Audi R8 LMS, piloted by Memto89, 753.6 qualifying time. These guys won the 2014 race here and finished 2nd, I believe, here at this event last year. So a seriously talented team here. And really, I mean, they're definitely something to watch out for. They keep coming back, keep coming stronger, and I definitely think we can see them challenge and fight for the champion and for the win here. 7th place is the GTMX team, the last of our, the last of our network teams. Also running an Audi R8 LMS Ultra, piloted by GTMX Alpha Vanti 44, a 754.401, placed them in 7th place overall. And, GTMX is a team, again, a lot of these teams have come in from the GT Planet Endurance series. And we've seen GTMX in that series be very strong. So it's definitely clear that, they have consistency, and it's whether or not they can put that together, because the Green Hell is a whole other story. You can perform well at many other circuits, but the Green Hell it's one thing. It's a completely separate thing to any other track in the world. As the drivers are going down the Dottinger Hill, so I will make this quick for the final 2 teams. In 8th place, the Rest team in the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3, piloted by Roma Sagan, 804.4. These guys keep getting faster, and I believe they keep coming back. 2014, 2015, this year they're back, and I think this time we could really see a decent fight from these guys. And I think all of us are really hoping it. The only Nissan GTR in the mix here today, so obviously this another new rule that I forgot to go over is car selection was completely open. So in the past, it was only 2 cars were available to be used, but now teams can choose whatever car. So we could have had an entire grid of Audis or BMWs, but no, we still have a very nice, diverse grid. So Rest team, definitely a team to watch, and I think those guys will be very good and very interesting to see as we head on into the race. Next is the CCR2 team in the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Very interesting to see how those guys do. As excuse me for just one second, I will have to put down my mic. As the cars are starting to head over, and I believe we are racing. We are underway. It's Racing takes the green flag in that really beautifully colored SLS AMG over GTP Pasm and Stigs TC. GTMX Alpha Vanti already coming up over Concrete Climax 1 team, and Restolo team taking over 8th. Seeing a few changes in position here, but really up front, it's Racing leading the way. GTP Pasm, though, looking very, very competitive there in that bright green Dart car. TNR Pfeffer also jumps Stigs TC off the top into third. TNR is a team we've seen go very, very fast in VLN and also in some practice sessions, but they seem to have struggled to put the lap together in qualifying. So those guys will definitely be looking to make their way to the front as quickly as possible, and it is really a very close fight up front. It's racing GTP Pasm, TNR Pfeffer, all very, very close. A small gap to Stigs TC after those guys, but still very, very close between all of these guys. As we are now heading down onto the back straight of the GP circuit. All right. Here we go on to the Nordschleife for the first time. These guys, this is now where it really is. So once you get into these positions, it's going to be very difficult to overtake over here. GTP Pasm looking very feisty, though, as he tries to get ahead before the Nordschleife, because that is narrow and very difficult to overtake on. Once again, 170 corners. I don't think I could ever stress enough how difficult this track is to get around. But we'll see how everything pans out here. So far, it doesn't look like there are any issues. All cars have made it past the GP section on the circuit. So very good to see here. Unlike last year's event, I believe we did have some issues with one car. I believe it was the Team Octane Racing car, if I am correct in saying that. That came into issues straight into turn 1, and that was just the beginning of a very difficult race for them. But it's racing and GTP Pasm in those Mercedes SLS AMGs leading the way as Stigs TC gets past as TNR Pfeffer falls down to 8th, and GT Max Alpha Vanti now in 4th place. So interesting to see what happened to Pfeffer, who might have actually fallen off the racetrack. Let me see if I can find anything to tell us about that, because this is very interesting what's going on here. And I do apologize if there are some quiet bits here, as I am the only one here commentating. And, I forgot to charge my controller for my PS3, so all the way on the other side of the room, so we'll go check that out, see what happened to TNR Pfeffer, see if he's struggling from any damage. And, very interesting to see what happened there, as GT Max Alpha Vanti, though, looking very competitive now after, those guys started down in 7th place on the grid, up to 4th, so a very strong start for them. And coming onto this back of the SLS train. So, very interesting to see, and, we'll have to see how everything pans out. Glenal's as well, down in 9th place, so some issues going on for some very big hitters. So I'll have to take a look at see what happened there. Once again, I do apologize for any extended breaks. Alright, well, controller is somewhat charged, let's see what all is happening here. Glenal's 81 does not look like he's suffering from any damage, so might have just been a small mistake that's put him down into 9th place, as he does get by the Restolo team. Doesn't look like that was a regular overtake. It looked like the Restolo team might have just lifted off there slightly, running their own race, which is a very smart thing to do here at the beginning of a 24-hour race. And, interesting to see what happens there. Restolo, again, they, results don't necessarily show that, necessarily how well they've been doing, but, definitely a very strong team. And, definitely we can see them into the mix as this race progresses. TNR Pfeffer does not look to have any damage on my screen, at least, but well-known glitch in Gran Turismo, not showing all of the issues some cars might have. So yeah, we'll have to see how everything pans out. It's racing, though. leading the way. I don't think we don't have gaps yet, unfortunately. Sorry, as we are yet to complete a lap. Expect around 8 minutes 10 for this first lap. And again, this field up front it's amazing how close this is to everyone else. 3 SLSs, and then I believe we have two Audi R8s. So the GTMX car, followed by the Concrete Climax 1, and the Concrete Climax 2 car as well isn't too far behind. So those guys coming back from a setting no time in qualifying must have run into some issues there. But running in 6th right now, looking very strong as well. So I don't believe we have any confirmation of who's in what car, at least for the local teams. So we'll have to take some guesses here, but we can definitely talk to the teams, and I can try and get in contact with them so that we can decide, or we can figure out who all is in which cars. Up front, everything is the same. It's Racing leading the way in the Green Hell Heathens car. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if that is actually It's Racing behind the wheel, because once again, this is a local event, so it could be, as big slide from them, but it could be any of the Green Hell Heathens drivers behind the wheel, and same could be said for, also for the Reaper Online Racing car, who have fallen back a bit. Where is the rest car? They're sort of running their own race right now. Not really pushing too hard, it looks like. So we could see them come strong later in the race. Interesting to see what's happening to them, or if they do have damage that we're just not able to see here on the screens. Glenelg's, looking to make up time as, let's see, what have we got here? Everyone running on soft tires, as is pretty much standard in these events now. All tires obviously available as, pass for the lead. GTP Pasm makes the move on It's Racing down the Dottinger Hoe. And StigCC tries to pull out, and he is running in the slipstream right now, so we'll see if he can make a move into the braking zone. But it doesn't look like It's Racing blocking very well, but GTP Pasm for the Dart team into the lead of the Nürburgring 24 hours after lap 1. Cars coming around back onto the GP circuit. All right, looking very competitive here. Again, those SLS AMGs looking very, very strong as It's Racing falling down the order. What is happening here? All right, interesting. It appears that there is a bit of a glitch in our timing system as Glenelg's 81 does in fact enter the pits. So definitely looks like there must have been some damage there for the Reaper Online Racing guys. Really unfortunate for those guys, as a very strong team. But again, 24 hours, it's only been 8 minutes in this race. So, definitely a lot of time left to go. So, it's always going to be difficult to make up time on this track, but remember, a red flag or a safety car period, those guys will be right back in the mix, especially since, it's such a huge circuit that it's very difficult to be lapped. And because of that, if a red flag or a safety car comes out, you could be right back on the back of the pack in the next lap, because of the way everything works here, the way the red flag situations work. So interesting to see there as the timing and scoring does fix itself. StigCC, It's Racing. Interesting to see what happened here. Timing and scoring is showing It's Racing in 5th place, but on track he is 3rd place, so must be a timing glitch. Sorry about that. GTMX Alpha Vanti gets a little bit wide on the exit of the chicane as they head into the Nordschleife, and It's Racing does in fact get overtaken there. So It's Racing down to 4th place, I believe, with Concrete Climax all over the back of that SLS now. So something seems to have happened to that SLS, because in the span of 1 lap, fallen from 1st to 4th. So not necessarily the strongest start those guys would have wanted. But once again, I cannot stress this enough. 24 hours, it's such a long race that, these guys, you can run into some issues at the beginning, but still be fighting for the win by the end of the race. So, yeah, grid looking, I do apologize because my timing and scoring is showing everything to be a bit mixed up here. But, yeah, its racing is, in fact, running in fourth, despite what it says on timing and scoring. GTP PASM, though, leading the way with a fairly big lead as well. What are we looking at here? That's huge. Once he's gotten clear of the pack, he has just gunned it. PASM is a very fast driver. This is very impressive. And, yeah, heading into Arden Forest, and 6cc is nowhere to be seen. That's how big the gap is after taking the lead just 3 minutes ago. So Dart definitely looking strong this early on in the race, and these guys are really famous for consistency, clockwork consistency. They don't necessarily have to be the fastest guys in the race, but they will keep running the same exact lap times again and again and again. And if PASM is showing this kind of pace, these guys are in serious contention for the victory. This race could really go anyone's way. There is no one who's actually out of this race as of yet. So, wow, this is fantastic. And, this event last year and the years before, it's always been extremely close, and, this year is looking to be no exception already. PASM, though, looking so strong as, taking a look at timing and scoring, he sets a time, wow, what is that, half a second faster in Sector 8 alone. So, yeah, GTP PASM is really on a roll right now. He's a man on a mission, getting the Dart car as far ahead as they can possibly be. Yeah, this is something else, as, yeah, wow. Okay, can you hear me? No, okay. What? Apologies for that break, as we are back. There we go. Lovely. And, yeah, PASM once again pulling out that lead. I believe we have another sector time to give you. Yes, we do. And what is that? 0.3 faster in Sector 10. Still putting in purple times, though. GTP PASM, man on a mission right here. This is fantastic stuff, and running lap 3 right now. Tires running on 7s and 8s, almost half fuel. I don't think we're going to see any drivers come in this lap, but next lap I think should be the first set of scheduled pit stops. I think 3-lap stints at full pace is definitely where you want to be. I think that was the sweet spot that we found at last year's event. It'll be interesting to see if teams go and run for 4-lap stints, as those could potentially, save you a couple of extra pit stops, but also does leave you with that 4th lap, which could be significantly slower than some others. So it's all about strategy here, because you really want to be, around the circuit, track position is vital. It's very difficult to overtake, apart from really the Dottinger Hoe and some parts of the GP circuit. So the drivers really want to be on it as, PASM gets a bit of air there, heading into the fast section at the bottom of the track. Getting ready to head into Dottinger, as I should probably get a track map so that I don't mess up any of these corner names. I do apologize, everything sort of all happened last minute with lack of a streaming system. So, really, I'm just having to run this on my own, not really anything else going on here. So, I do apologize for any breaks in the action once again. But GTP Pasm already onto the Dottinger Ho with 60C, just turning on to that now. So what is the gap between these two? That must be... Oh, wow. Well, we should hopefully get that gap as they're about to cross the start-finish line in just about 1 minute's time here. So I will give you guys that information as soon as I get it. Yeah, up front, things aren't too close, but in third place, fighting for third place is the Concrete Climax 2 team. So the second team taking the initiative, getting ahead of the Concrete Climax 1 team, I believe. Am I right in saying that? No, this is very interesting. Timing and scoring has gotten everyone completely off, I think. Am I right? No. My bad, I'm sorry. GTMX Alpha Venti does pit in. Interesting to see there, as also its racing does. So Green Hell Heathens and GTMX team pitting in this lap. Interesting to see whether or not that was scheduled. Tires don't look too bad on either of those cars, but its racing does look like he has front left suspension damage, as TNR Pfeffer also heads in with both front suspension damage. So there must have been an incident that we missed here. It'll be interesting to talk to any other teams about what potentially happened. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what went on there, as 3 cars boxed in that lap. 2 of them had damage. GTMX, I don't think, though, that that was a scheduled stop, because this seems too early to be running scheduled stops. But anyways, I believe... Oh, dear. Timing and scoring not really making this easy for us. Let me see if I can get pictures about where... Okay, so from what I can tell, the order currently is GTP Pasm leading the way in the Dart car, Stig CC coming in second place in that MWM Racers Collective Mercedes SLS AMG. Third place is Concrete Climax 1 in the blue and yellow Team Phoenix Audi R8. Concrete Climax 2 is in fourth place, my bad. With... Oh, dear. This is very difficult to tell. I'm very sorry. Let me see if I can get fixed track maps so we can get closer track maps and figure out what all is going on here. Alright, as Pasm now running... Wow, big gap we have between the leaders and the 8th place cars. Huh. As Pasm with a 7:52 already on lap 3 of this event. Well, racing lap 2. So, again, I said at the beginning of this broadcast, we're going to see a definite change in that lap record held by Mint GTR. And, no, I personally don't know the specific lap time, but I believe that could have just been breaking it. And GTP Pasm's still looking strong, but I expect him to pit this lap. So we'll have to see how he does next stint. Next stint should be low fuel for the Dart car, running on half a tank of fuel. Let's not forget that they did do a full formation lap. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to see them do a low fuel run this second stint before filling up completely and completing that cycle. Normally I think that's how the strategy really works around here. You can get through a tire stint on around half a tank of fuel, while so you have 2 tire stints to take up a full tank of fuel, and then you go fill up to full again, and then you go back at it. Or if you want to shorten your time sort of spread out the time throughout 2 different pit stops, you could also fill up a little bit into the first stop, and also just fill up a little bit so that it all adds up to getting another full tank as you head into your next stint. So again, many different strategies at play here, so interesting to see how they all play out. I'm sure the teams have run the numbers, know what they're doing. They all have plans for this 24-hour race. And right now, nothing really going on track. Not many cars very close together. The field's really spread out. As actually, it's racing very close to the Rest Holo car with also, as Glenn Owls has left the room. Glenn Owls, that is a disconnection for the Reaper Online Racing car. Alright, so this is interesting to see what happens, because if I recall correctly, under the old regulations, this would call for a red flag, but I'm not sure if that's the same scenario, if we're running with the same set of rules. For all we know, it could just be they rejoin and they just happen to lose all that time that they worked so hard to get. That is a huge hit for the Reaper Online Racing guys, who've already had a tough start to the race. I'm gonna see if we can get in touch with any guys at the Reaper Online Racing camp, see what happened there, because that's seriously unfortunate for them. And wow. Alright, well, I mean, really got a feel for the Reaper Online Racing guys, as a very strong team, a very strong effort. Shame to see them disconnect so early on in the race, but hopefully that means for them that they can come back and still make up that time. They have 24 hours to make up that time. And no word from the stewards, as Glenn Owls 81 has rejoined the lobby. So interesting to see if he gets back on track. As Stiggs TC has also left the room. So definitely looking like some issues on the network side. So could we be seeing a red flag here, as that's 2 disconnections within the past minute or so? If we get any other disconnections, this could be no word from the stewards as of yet. Let me take a look and see if we're awaiting any messages. Nothing yet from our steward. So interesting to see how all this goes down. PSN issues have been going on for quite some time now. So, I mean, I didn't think we were going to get away with this. But, things were running so well for the first few laps. And, Bathurst 12-hour, the GT Planet Endurance Series had a very similar issue with this not even being able to run their race. So, hopefully, our issues aren't as bad as that. But, right now, 6cc has just rejoined the room. So, that's really tough on those second-place runners, as that puts Concrete Climax Racing, I believe, now into second place overall. Yes, I believe that is true. Concrete Climax 2, I believe, is running in third, despite timing and scoring saying they're running in fourth. This is very confusing, I have to say, as Pasm does box in, so that's the leader into the pit lane. Scheduled stop, definitely by the looks of those tires. 4s and 5s on the fronts. 7s on the rear. But interesting to see. Alright, into the box. And interesting to see how much fuel they put out. Not a lot of fuel, actually, at all onto the car. Just over 50% fuel as they exit the pits. Brand new set of soft tires, and they are away. Concrete Climax 1 into the pits. Also, just going for around 55% fuel, I want to say. Fresh set of soft tires, and those guys are away as well. Concrete Climax 2 in that Corvette. In the box, yeah, so everyone looks to be going for, empty out the tank over 2 stints, and then just fill it up to full. So 60% fuel on all of these cars. Brand new set of softs on all of them. Interesting to see. We have had issues in the past with cars running out of fuel. So hopefully we don't have issues like that, because that would be extremely unfortunate for those teams, whichever team gets hit by it. So, back underway. Glenal's and Stig CC now on one lap, as I'm sure lap counters, though, will be keeping an eye on that. And that's one thing that's very nice, I think, about this event, is that lap count can really be, it's very easy to keep track of, because most of the time everyone is really on the same lap, especially in these early stages of the race. Yeah, so interesting to see Glenal's up on track. Stig CC really far back, unfortunately for him. Trying to see if there is any close fights on track. And it doesn't really look like it. Field's very spread out, especially with the disconnections between Glenal's and Stig's TC. So, and by the looks of it, no red flag situation. So those guys are just running back in, and very unfortunate for them. But yeah, this kind of stuff happens, and this is racing. You're definitely gonna run into some bad luck along the way. But I think it's better to have it happen here in the first hour of the race versus the final hour, having all your hard work deleted. So another issue for those guys. I believe Glenal's might be able to get some laps back, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what all happens with those guys when it comes down to lap scoring. Just going to take a look to see if we are getting any footage or any coverage anytime soon, as let me take a look at this. Oops, my bad. All right. Well, yeah, it doesn't look like we are getting any kind of streaming here, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so it looks like we're just gonna have to keep this up. Once again, this is the CORE N24. We have been running for 37.5 minutes. Wow. All right, this is going to take up some space on my hard drive, but that's fine. Mass disconnection. Concrete Climax, Restolo, and Glenal's have all left the room, all disconnected. That's 3 disconnections in the span of 10 seconds, which I believe is call for a red flag. So interesting to see what happens if our steward is going to call that out. Peelster 1 stewarding right now in the box. Doesn't look like we're getting a message to him, but Peelster, one of the unsung heroes of many races, many endurance races, running behind the scenes, making sure everything goes smoothly. So yes, let me take a look and see if there are any issues that might be happening, as Glenal's and Concrete Climax have rejoined the room, but we are yet to see the Restolo team. Let me just send a message to the stewards to make sure they've seen everything here. Yeah, so all cars look to be, we have Concrete Climax and Glenal's back on track. Restolo team doesn't look like they are back, which is not good for those guys. Concrete Climax back on track and making their way out of the pits now, as Restolo does rejoin the room. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what all happens here, because that is quite a few disconnections in the span of just a few minutes. So PlayStation Network definitely not looking as healthy as we thought it might have been. Yeah, this is not good signs for what's to come. But hopefully this is the last we see of this. And yeah, well, bit of a hectic start, not necessarily by on-track action, but by all the issues happening to teams when it comes to disconnections and stuff like that. So, not good stuff, obviously, for those teams, as only 7 cars on track right now, as Restolo does rejoin. Are we missing a car? StigCC has left the room. Oh, boy. Alright, this is not good, as Restolo has left again. So, definitely connection issues. As Pasm has also left the room. Okay, so we've just lost our race leader as well. Currently 4 cars still running. Oh boy, this has got to be a red flag scenario, and I'm surprised we haven't seen anything called out by the steward. No, with how many teams was that? That was 1, 2, 3. I believe that was once again, just 3 cars lost in that time. But still, very interesting, and surprising that this is all happening. Actually, let's see. Yeah, well, with all these issues going on, it's once again waiting to hear on the steward to see if anything is going on. Pasm rejoins the room. That was our race leader, let us not forget. So that does put my bad. That does put our race leader as Concrete Climax Racing. No, I'm sorry. Who puts that in the race lead? Who does that put in the race lead? Is that GTMX in the race lead? No, I believe it's Concrete Climax 2 leading the way. So, wow. All right. So, what a hectic start. So, those guys coming in from setting no time in... Wow. Coming in from setting no time in qualifying, coming in to set, as it's racing. Makes it now this timing and scoring is more confused than I am, I think. We are just getting things back up and running here. So Concrete Climax looks to be leading. No, Concrete Climax 2 looks to be leading the way of the guys who are still running. Interesting. It's racing, I believe, having, despite just disconnecting, still running in first place according to timing and scoring. Once again, very confusing here for me, as only 8 runners on track. Who are we missing? Stigs TC once again. Disconnections. So, no car, I don't think. Ooh, do we have Pilster out on track? We do have him typing, so we could be seeing a safety car situation. I'm not sure. Or red flag potentially. So it's his call. We're just awaiting that decision from him to see what's going on, because we have had quite a few disconnections as Restolo team once again disconnects. So PlayStation Network definitely not stable here, and definitely not suitable for a 24-hour race right now. It's basically going to be whoever disconnects the least at this rate. Hopefully people were still able to get laps in with lap counter, but I think a lot of time is going to be lost for all those teams that suffered these disconnections. No message from Core HQ, but Yeah, safety car deployed at leader this lap. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car is deployed. Pielster coming out onto track in the BMW M4 pace car. So yeah, wow, this is not really what we wanted for this event, and jeez. As Restola rejoins the room. Yeah, lots of issues going on for the teams, and I think safety car deployed is the best decision. Allows the field to be equalized, and if the issues continue to come through, then we might have to just call it a red flag for the time being. But obviously, we don't want that to happen. But looking at everything going on, 78 is the leader. So if I am correct, that is the Green Hell Heathens car. So, yeah, despite all these issues, yeah, some complaints from some other drivers in the CORE N24 chat. Definitely not stable enough to keep running like this. 78 is the GHH car. It's racing, leading the way in the safety car period as concrete climax, disconnection. This is not a stable room, and yeah, this is not good. Well, this is well, we've made it 37 minutes into the race. So, not really how long we would have wanted to go for. But, yeah, it doesn't look like these issues are avoidable. They seem to be happening on the weekends only. So, it seems to be difficult to get past this. Whatever is happening to the PlayStation Network on the weekends, yeah, it's definitely not good, and it's been going on since the beginning of 2016. So this issue clearly needs to be fixed, and I believe it is plaguing PS4 as well. So everyone running PlayStation is really having issues right now, as we're just seeing people disconnecting and rejoining and disconnecting. It's not looking good right now, and Pielster should be out. Oh, excuse me. Pielster should be out in just a few minutes with the safety car, with its racing leading the pack. Glenn Alice hits the pit lane, probably to get a stint photo. But yeah, this is not looking good for anyone running right now. And yeah, yellow flag conditions. Pasm leaves the room again. Dark car. Those guys were looking very good, but tough hit definitely to lose all of that work. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what all happens from here on out, as the cars will go into safety car. We'll have a safety car session running for who knows how long at this point, really. And then from there, we'll have to come up with the decision of what happens next. Yeah, it's not really how I think anyone really was expecting the weekend to go. Rejoining drivers, Holden Box is the new message from Pielster, our steward. So yeah, this is not looking good, and we could be seeing almost every driver in the pit lane. Yep, Holden Box. Yeah, this is a very tough way to start the weekend. And a 24-hour race like this just becomes more and more difficult, and hopefully, we can get through these issues. We were able to get through the Daytona 24 at in GTPS earlier in January, but recently things have been looking just worse and worse, and it's really difficult to really race on weekends. And, excuse me again. Yeah, one of the, I believe, dart drivers saying PSN need to address this problem. This is, seriously bad behavior from those guys. 6 guys out on track right now. This is not looking good at all, as a safety car should be out any minute now to pick up the leader, as he is now heading down Dottinger Hoe. Green Hell Heathens leading the way, as Pielster does head out onto the racetrack. So let's just switch to him picking up the lead car. Yeah, not good at all for these guys, and hopefully we can get these sorted out so that the rest of the weekend can keep running. But Pielster out onto track right now. And safety car is deployed as its racing hits the pits. TNR Pfeffer hits the pits. All of these guys heading in for, I believe, scheduled stops. Yes, scheduled stops. Same thing with Pfeffer. This is actually, it's racing and Pfeffer are the 2 guys not to be hit by these connection issues yet. So I believe I was wrong in saying that its racing was hit. So it's TNR versus GHH. 6 laps ahead of the competition, about, probably a little less. Car is now sitting behind safety car, as I believe safety car is running now. So let's just get an onboard shot with that. Roof view rear, there we go. As, TNR Pfeffer takes the lead of the race. That's very interesting. With Pfeffer ahead of its racing. So I believe that puts TNR into the lead as we hit this safety car session. But difficult to tell with all the disconnections going on, and hopefully we can get a message from lap counters to tell us what all has happened. As cars pretty much crawling now, and all stopped on the small bit of stretch after turn 2 at the GP circuit. Yeah, not looking good. Red flag, as Pielster calls out the red flag. So cars now stopped on track or in the pit lane. So, we'll have to see what all happens during this red flag. And don't think it's worth me keeping this running right now. But I will pause it, and I will plan to be back as soon as we get underway once again. Just for reference, the current racing time, the local time at the Nürburgring is 15:43. We're in red flag situation. TNR leads Green Hell Heathens in the 2016 CORE Nurburgring 24-hour. Hopefully we will be back. It's going to be longer for me, but hopefully it should just be a second before I am back. So thank you guys for watching this first bit, and hopefully we're back up and running very shortly. And I am back. We are back. And, 10 cars, 9 plus the pace car. Going away, the track time, 16:21, which, fairly accurate. And, drivers, actually, no, that's not accurate at all. I don't know what I'm saying. But it's been a bit of time since the disconnection, about half an hour, 45 minutes. Cars are about to go. We are going for a VLN start. TNR Pfeffer leads the way for TNR, followed by Green Hell Heathens, Team MWM Motorsport Collective, Concrete Climax 2, GTMX, Dart, Concrete Climax 1, Reaper Online Racing, and Restolo, as TNR Pfeffer now takes the lead as we head into the VLN start stretch. Pielster dives back out of the way of everyone, and we are about to get racing. Under the sign, and we are away. TNR Pfeffer leads. It's racing down, as I believe it's actually TRL Bo behind the wheel of that Mercedes SLS of the Green Hell Heathens. He's going to want to get a good shot at getting ahead of that TNR car, but Pfeffer seems to hold the lead right now as we head onto the Nordschleife. 6cc holds third, Concrete Climax 2 fourth, GTMX 5th. Depper works his way to 7th, actually I believe passes Glenn Alice in the Reaper Online Racing car once again, as TNR Pfeffer goes out wide. Tiro Bo follows him, huge pile up by the looks of it, as, oh my god, the GHH car has left the room. That is huge for them. TNR Pfeffer in the wall there, getting the car moving again, but that is huge amounts of damage. Entire car is damaged. I'm expecting limp home mode to be activated on that car very shortly. That's not good for those guys, as Team MWM Motorsport Racers Collective takes the lead now after a hectic restart in just the first sector there. It's racing, and the Green Hell Heathens, excuse me, I do apologize for that absence. Sorry, just ran into a couple of issues. Back underway. God, missed quite a lot. We have had quite a few disconnections. Joy. Yeah, not very good stuff going on. StigsTC leads the way in the Team MWM Racers Collective car. Concrete Climax 2 looks to be in second place, but Depper looks very close behind. Yeah, we have a very close battle here on track, as I believe we have rain starting to fall. Could that have just been a trick of the light, or was that actually a couple of drops of rain? Let me see if we can get on board with the Concrete Climax car, see if we can see anything. No, it doesn't look like rain right now, but the sun is going down, and, well, interesting to see. Actually, let's take a look and see what the rain settings are, and if we have some changeability set up for this weekend. I would assume so. I think we've had rain in, yep, weather changeability is there. So you never know. We could have some rain come in, but it looks right now just to be a little overcast. I don't think it's going to be crazy right now. But Concrete Climax 2, the second Concrete Climax team, doing a great job ahead of the sister team and also running second overall. So those guys looking very good. Concrete Climax coming in here with two different cars, very different cars, as Pfeffer leaves the room again. So TNR, they got that first position off the start of the safety car, and it's all gone away. That's extremely difficult for those guys, I think, is the least to be said. Yeah, very tough on those guys. 8 cars currently on track, but TNR missing out a lot on the action. 6cc really pulling out a decent gap to Concrete Climax 2, which is nice to see there. Let's see. Yep, it's tough to really say these exact lap times, but the last sector that they ran identical times. So Concrete Climax 2 not slipping away, 6cc not pulling ahead, and maybe TNR did a driver change. Okay, so TNR Philo now behind the wheel of that TNR race car, that blue and yellow R8 Team Phoenix racing car. And, well, let's see, as StigsTC goes by. Ooh, Concrete Climax, Concrete Climax 2 is closing the gap to 6cc in the Team MWM Racers Collective car. So expect to see that vet catching up to the SLS very soon by the looks of it. But Concrete Climax has a Depper behind him to worry about, so that dart car coming back. And those guys are looking good. They're looking very good since that restart. So it looks like GTP PASM had some issues, and I think that was a big thing really for them. So really unfortunate for them, of course, but Depper now running in third with the laps now set out to even. I forgot to mention that before, my bad. So all cars were running on the same lap after the confusion with the disconnections. So right now, it's looks like everyone's running all right, except for GHH and TNR, which are two very, very competitive teams. GHH still running very, very fast competitive times, with TRL Bo, the pole sitter at this event, behind the wheel. 66, I believe that's the TNR car, has 4 minutes of wait time remaining, so those guys are stuck in the pit lane. Something that was decided in the red flag break was that teams who disconnect have to wait 10 minutes for lap compensation. So they get the lap that they were on, but they do not. But they have to wait 10 minutes. So they're still losing time, but they're not losing laps. So it all works out in the end. Normally, unless you're extremely unlucky, in your favor. So very good for all of that to be happening. All right. Well, this has been a bit hectic. I think that's the best way to describe this. Well, in the meantime, I believe we have the top 5 drivers all setting their top 6 drivers all having set lap times now. So let's just go through and see where everyone is. So leading the pack with a 7:56.757 is Stiggs TC in that MWM car, leading the way. Depper in second place with as something must have happened to the Concrete Climax car, as those guys now running in third, as Depper just makes the move on them. So there it is. Unfortunately, no pictures, but Depper gets by now into second place. He was running very competitive time, 56.8. Concrete Climax 2 ran a 7:58.5. Glenal's 81 of the Reaper Online Racing team did a 7:59.6. Concrete Climax, the first team, ran an 8:05. GTMX ran an 8-minute 11.1, and Restolo ran an 8:14.1. As going to the the 8th place car, the Green Hell Heathens car, currently has set purple in every single sector. That is quite something. So those guys definitely on fast laps. They're coming up. Where are they on track right now? They still got some ways to go, actually. As what's happened here? No, car still running competitively. TRL Bo behind the wheel again. Pole sitter, an extremely fast guy. So expect him to be near the top with fast laps. I mean, a 7:47 in qualifying, a stunning performance by him there. As we have just gone over 1 hour on this podcast, I'm probably going to cut this to around 1.5 hours. Excuse me. Oops, give me a second here. Okay. Sorry about that. I am back, I believe. Okay. Interesting. Sorry. Haven't actually used Audacity much, until now. So, as TRL Bo just finishing up his lap, he has gone purple in just about every sector. And in the sectors he hasn't, It's been green, but then again, this is his first lap. Through sector 15, and now just down the kink of Dottinger and into the final chicane for him. And we will have a lap time there. So this should be, by the looks of it, the fastest lap of the event. But we'll have to see what happens, as I believe he's about to cross the line in a few seconds, as he just does. Oh, okay. Must have. Oh, I believe he started his lap. Alright, might be another timing glitch as well. Lots of timing glitches here. Timing and scoring not really liking much of this, as, oops, excuse me. Okay. Underway. We might actually just end this podcast here. The activity has really died down on track. Hopefully we can get coverage on the racetrack very soon. I leave the lobby accidentally. And yeah, cars are all really spread out on track. It's not really much going on here right now, unfortunately. So I hope when we return, we will have full coverage with including pictures. So hopefully we'll hear back from our streamer at that time. TNR back on track. Everyone is running smoothly right now by the looks of it. 9 cars on track. Yeah, so we'll see how everything goes, and we will hopefully return at the hopefully in a few hours with pictures. I've been Rishav Khosla. Thank you so much for tuning into, I guess this podcast is the best way to describe it. And, yeah, I guess that's all. Just to finish off, let's go through the order. Stig CC leads the way, followed by Depper, so that's MWM and Dart. Third place is Concrete Climax 2, with Reaper Online Racing running in 4th. 5th place is Concrete Climax. 6th is GTMX. 7th is Resolo. 8th is the Green Hell Heathens. And 9th, who have just actually suffered another disconnection, extremely unfortunate for those guys, is the Top Notch Racing team. That's your top 9. That's your pecking order right now. And yeah, I will be back hopefully before the end of the race. But yeah, this should get posted on the CORE TV channel. Thank you all for listening in to this podcast. And I will see you all later.